What if the food sitting on your plate right now has a history you have never been told? Florida does not show up in food history textbooks, but maybe it should. Today on Recipe Lab, we are breaking down 10 foods you had absolutely no idea were invented in the Sunshine State. And at least one of them is not even a food. In the 10th place, key lime pie stands as Florida's most iconic dessert, but its story is anything but straightforward. Born out of Key West kitchens in the early 20th century, this pie was a feat of survival engineering. No ovens, no ice, just tart key limes, eggs, and a can of sweetened condensed milk. Local legend credits Aunt Sally, said to be a cook for the Curry family. Yet historians trace the first lime pie recipes from the 1920s to the 1930s in menus and community cookbooks, while the chemistry of the pie's filling, set by citric acid, not heat, turned a lack of refrigeration into a culinary advantage. By 2006, Florida made it official, naming key lime pie the state pie. It is a slice of nostalgia, resourcefulness, and just a little bit of myth. Number 9, the Cuban sandwich isn't just a lunch, it's a layered history lesson pressed between slices of Cuban bread. In Tampa's Ybor City, cigar workers from Cuba, Spain, and Italy pooled their paychecks and their cultures to create a sandwich that could fuel a day on the factory floor. The Tampa version, documented in Columbia restaurant menus from the early 1900s, stacks roast pork, ham, Swiss cheese, pickles, mustard, and here is the spark for endless debate: Genoa salami, a nod to the city's Italian community. Miami's later take skips the salami, sparking a rivalry that still divides sandwich lovers. What started as a practical meal for immigrant laborers in Tampa became a culinary icon, its roots tangled in the very story of Florida's working class. 8th place goes to frozen concentrated orange juice, a laboratory breakthrough that changed the American breakfast table forever. In the 1940s, Florida's citrus scientists faced a wartime dilemma: how to deliver fresh vitamin C to soldiers without spoilage. The answer was a vacuum evaporation process that removed water at low temperatures, preserving more than 90% of the juice's vitamin C. It was filed for patent in 1947, and the method made its commercial debut in Lakeland in 1948. Suddenly, oranges weren't just a seasonal treat, they were a year-round staple, poured from cans in kitchens across the country. Science, not sunshine, made orange juice a morning ritual. Number 7. Gatorade wasn't born in a boardroom or a soda factory. It started in a cramped University of Florida lab, where Dr. Robert Cade faced a problem nobody else could solve. In the brutal heat of Gainesville, football players were collapsing from dehydration, losing pounds of sweat and salt every game. Cade and his team set out to crack the code, mixing water, sugar, and electrolytes in beakers. The first batches tasted so bad they made players sick, until Cade's wife suggested adding lemon juice to mask the bitterness. That simple fix turned a scientific experiment into a sideline secret weapon. By 1967, the university patented the formula, and field tests proved Gatorade could keep athletes going where water failed. The royalties, close to $280 million, funded generations of Florida research. The drink itself exploded into a global brand worth $5 billion. What started as a medical solution for Gators football became the taste of victory for teams everywhere. Number 6. Tupperware's rise wasn't about plastic bowls. It was about a Florida woman who changed how America sold, stored, and even thought about food. In the early 1950s in Orlando, Brownie Wise took a struggling product and turned it into a cultural phenomenon with her home party sales model. Tupperware parties were not just social gatherings. They were a marketing revolution that let women build businesses from their living rooms, driving sales past $100 million a year. She became the face of the brand, landing on the cover of Businessweek in 1954. a rare honor for any woman in corporate America. But her story took a sharp turn. Just 4 years later, she was fired, erased from company history, and denied royalties for her groundbreaking idea. The party model she built outlasted her, transforming kitchens worldwide. But the woman behind it was nearly written out of food history. Subscribe for more untold stories before we dig into Florida's most sustainable seafood. Number 5. Stone crab claws transformed Florida's coastline into a showcase for sustainable seafood, thanks to a Miami Beach outsider named Joe Weiss. In the early 1920s, Weiss started serving chilled stone crab claws at his modest seafood stand, turning what locals saw as a nuisance catch into a signature delicacy. Instead of harvesting the whole crab, Weiss and his fishermen perfected a method of removing just one claw, then releasing the crab alive to regenerate its lost limb, a process that takes about a year. This regenerative approach did not just protect the species, it fueled an entire industry. By 1937, Florida had codified the one-claw rule into law, a direct response to the dish's runaway popularity at Joe's Stone Crab. Today, the stone crab fishery brings in nearly $100 million annually, proving that a luxury meal can also be a lesson in ecological stewardship. Number 4. St. Augustine's Day-Till Pepper Hot Sauce is a lesson in culinary survival and cultural stubbornness. When Minorcan immigrants arrived in Florida in the 1760s, forced from New Smyrna to St. Augustine, they brought with them a fiery little pepper that would outlast empires. Church records and land deeds from the late 18th century mentioned daddle plots, and by 1884, local newspapers were already touting datil pepper sauce as a regional staple. Unlike mass-produced hot sauces, this one stayed rooted, grown, cooked, and bottled by Minorcan descendants who refused to let their flavor fade. Community cookbooks and an annual festival still celebrate the pepper's sweet heat, drawing thousands to taste a sauce you will rarely find outside Northeast Florida. In a state known for reinvention, the Day-Till pepper stands as proof that some traditions only get hotter with time. Coming to the top 3, Hearts of Palm, known locally as swamp cabbage, traces its roots to the survival skills of Florida's Seminole people. Long before it ever appeared on a chef's tasting menu, this tender core of the sable palmetto was a lifeline in the subtropical wilderness. Seminole harvesters used selective cutting, taking only what the land could spare, a practice detailed in an 1887 Smithsonian ethnography. But as settlers arrived and demand grew, the method shifted. By the 1930s, whole groves were felled for canning and export, sparking alarm among foresters and leading to some of Florida's earliest conservation laws. Today, most hearts of palm found in restaurants come from sustainable farms, but the old Florida dish, boiled with salt pork or simmered in stews, remains a taste of resilience. What started as a survival food now graces upscale plates, yet every bite carries the story of a resource once nearly lost, and a reminder that what is on the table can shape the fate of the landscape itself. Number 2, Minute Maid didn't just bottle Florida sunshine, it turned a laboratory breakthrough into a national ritual. The story begins in Winter Haven, where Florida Citrus Corporation set out in 1945 to make orange juice more than a seasonal luxury. Their secret was a new process that let juice be frozen, shipped, and reawakened with a splash of water. But it was branding that made the difference. In 1949, the company reintroduced itself as Minute Maid, promising fresh orange juice in 60 seconds. Then came a stroke of marketing genius. Bing Crosby's smooth baritone on radio ads, crooning the virtues of Florida's latest export. Suddenly, orange juice was no longer just a local crop. It was breakfast for America. The momentum didn't stop there. In 1960, Coca-Cola snapped up Minute Maid for $36 million, cementing Florida's place at the center of the juice industry. From a Winter Haven plant to the world's kitchen tables, Minute Maid proved that a little Florida ingenuity and a dash of star power could transform how the country starts its day. And finally, in first place, frozen pizza's rise from novelty to dinner table staple owes as much to Florida's post-war infrastructure boom as it does to any recipe. After World War II, Florida's citrus industry had already built a sprawling network of freezer plants and refrigerated trucking routes, especially around Orlando and Tampa. These same cold chain systems, designed to move orange juice and produce across the Sunbelt, quietly became the backbone for a new kind of frozen food, pizza. By the late 1950s and early 1960s, Florida's processing plants weren't just packing citrus. They were churning out frozen pizzas by the truckload, feeding a Sunbelt market that lacked the corner pizzerias found up north. Industry records show that Orlando and Tampa plants supplied supermarkets from Atlanta to Dallas, fueling a demand spike that turned frozen pizza into a $20 billion industry. While the original patents and recipes trace back to the Midwest, it was Florida's logistics that scaled the pie nationwide. The irony is that Italians in the South initially turned up their noses, but highways lined with Florida freezer trucks made frozen pizza a household habit across the region. In the end, it wasn't just culinary invention that changed how America eats. It was Florida's knack for moving food fast, cold, and everywhere. The state's hidden engine of logistics, science, and marketing didn't just deliver oranges, it delivered dinner. Across all 10 discoveries, a striking pattern emerges. Florida quietly engineers the way America eats, inventing out of necessity, collision, and reinvention. Food history is not just written in big cities, it is reshaped in overlooked places. The next time you eat, remember, the real origin story might be hiding in plain sight.